This is the Good Government Show.
Mayors are good governments because we have no boundaries. We have no political tie. We're there to work for the people, with the people. It is easier for us because for us, it's about the people. It's about to ensure we have job, we have water, and we have everything a person needs to survive. Too often, we're so much in a rush to move to the next obstacle. We need to have a solid pace. If water of the Great Lakes is contaminated in one spot, it affects 2 nations, 8 states, 2 provinces. There's going to be change, but change is good. Scary, but you have to accept change. It's part of our day-to-day life. If you want to be in a silo, then you have nothing. If you want to be in the sandbox, you have no sand. You have to get out of that. You have to expand, work together.
We're going international on this episode when I talk with Gino Moretti, mayor of Saint Anicet in Quebec, Canada. His city on the St. Lawrence River is about 10 miles from the U.S. and the state of New York. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. Canada is our closest neighbor and ally. The U.S. and Canada have the longest border in the world, most of it with no military presence. There are, of course, checkpoints, but Canada is most definitely a good neighbor. Just watch Saturday Night Live or listen to Neil Young or watch a hockey game. Our 2 countries are tied together in many ways. As tariffs and trade wars currently dominate the headlines, it's important to listen to lots of voices. On this show, I heard from Gino Moretti in both English and French. Don't worry, there's a translation. My French is, well, not much beyond ordering the Côte de Rhône wine. Anyway, Monsieur le Maire, how's that for French? He is one of the co-chairs of something called the Great Lakes City Initiative. This is a combined U.S.-Canadian group that works to preserve and protect the 2-country region. The goal is to keep the water clean and protect the joint economies of both nations. The mayor has recently been speaking out about the impacts of proposed and recently enacted tariffs, saying it will have a disastrous effect on the region, on the people, on jobs, and the joint economies of both the U.S. and Canada. We talked about some of the programs for cities along the Great Lakes on both sides of the border. In all, it's good government between U.S. and Canadian cities. We recorded this interview in Washington, D.C. on the eve of the inaugural of the new president. U.S.-Canadian relations haven't improved. But when you listen to Gino Moretti talk, you realize that the U.S. and Canada share more than a border and some lakes. Our countries are connected in so many ways. Now more than ever, it's important to have these conversations and listen to what's going on with our closest neighbor. So, coming up, Monsieur le Maire, Gino Moretti. AI isn't the future of government, it's happening now. Let Polimorphic power your government with AI like other agencies are already doing. Polimorphic helps you power resident-first service to streamline requests while reducing staff workloads and speeding up how your citizens get answers. It's a secure system that's built for government. You'll see immediate results with more informed citizens. Want to see how AI can help you power a service-first government? Visit polymorphic.com. That's polymorphic.com. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I have our first international guest. Very excited to have our first international guest, Mayor Gino Moretti of Saint Anicet, Canada.
Bonjour à vous tous, mes chers collègues. My name is Gino Moretti. I'm le maire de Saint Anicet dans la province du Québec du pays Canada. Mayor of Saint Anicet, province of Quebec in Canada. I am your northern brother. My closest neighbor in the south is Fort Covington, New York.
How far away is that?
Approximately 10 miles. I'm a border village, but I have a privilege and honor of being the co-president of the Great Lakes in the St. Lawrence City Initiative, which represent over 260 municipalities representing 40 million people, 2 provinces, Quebec and Ontario, and 8 states around the Great Lakes, working together with indigenous people to make sure we have safe drinking water, we have a sustainable economy, and protecting our waterways, since we have 20% of the world's water in the North America, is to work together. As you quite know, Dave, mayors have no boundaries. And that's why mayor, where we go directly to get the source done. We work together. We do not have all the bureaucracy. We need to get things done. Why? Without water, there is no life.
Sure.
And the Great Lakes City Initiative allows us to do that together, working cooperatively, and also asking provincial and state government, and also both federal, the importance of investing, because $1 spent in the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence is $3 in economy for each municipality. If the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence was a country, it would be North America's third biggest exchange economy. Mexico, China, and the Great Lakes. Why? Because we create jobs for United States and in Canada. We share a common goal. We have the longest boundary, border, allows us to work together freely, understand, and we have the same culture.
So I want to go back to something you just mentioned. This is the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence
City
Initiative. This brings together both Canadian and American states, cities, mayors, governors together.
Mayors, strictly mayors,
mayors.
And an elected official, and also city staff to work together.
Do you all work together?
Yes, yeah. Yes. We have differences.
Sure.
But what is the great thing by being a co-chair? I am the co-chair representing Canada.
Right.
And the mayor of Sheboygan, Wisconsin, Ryan.
Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Exactly, sorry.
It's all right.
But he is my representative.
You can say it in French if you like.
It would be easier.
Go ahead.
Sheboygan, the Wisconsin. It would be easy. It is easier for us because for us, it's about the people. It's about to ensure we have job, we have water, and we have everything a person needs to survive. It's an economy base, the Great Lakes.
This sounds very much like good government.
Well, mayors are good governments because we have no boundaries. We have no political tie. We're there to work for the people, with the people, and with also their indigenous people to make sure. Because they know, the indigenous people, the old way, why Mother Nature looked after us. But we have to look after them by working together, by setting our priority. This year is economy, working on the economy, and is to make sure we promote it. Because every single job we can keep in North America, Canada and United States both win.
So I live in New York City. I'm an American. You are, as I said, you are our first international guest from Canada. Do you mostly align? Are there differences between, the directives and the goals of the American mayors and then the Canadian mayors? I mean, how does that work, when you have two different countries?
The only thing we have the difference is the process. Okay. The process is slightly different. Sometimes I'm a bit jealous of my American counterpart.
Why is that?
How fast a governor can sustain money directly to help or purchase certain equipment. In Quebec, it's a bit more bureaucracy needed, so I have to justify the
more bureaucracy.
Exactly, and so the process. But however, my peers in the United States are kind of jealous of us because there's certain things we could go get done faster.
Like what?
Getting things done about the shoreline erosion, protection shoreline. Get it done faster because we know if we protect the shoreline, it reduce damages to the house and to the resident along the St. Lawrence or the Great Lakes. Another one, the problem the United States have, lead in your water line.
Yep.
30 years ago, we eliminated that. We still have a small number. But we have taken the Canadian model, talked to our colleagues in the United States, and how to give a tax break to housing to be able to change the lead pipe to a free thing so they don't have lead in the homes receiving. So we share the process.
When you look at America and you look at and you talk to America's mayors, there must be a few things that you just look at them and go, you're not getting it. What are those things?
No, we don't have that as mayor.
You don't?
No. And the reason that because we're able to talk and sit, discuss, listen, reflect, and harmonize in our direction. Once we've given our orientation.
Again, this sounds like good government.
It's good governance. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But
we like that on the Good Government Show.
Too often, we're so much in a rush to move to the next obstacle. We need to have a solid pace. That's why water has no boundary. If water of the Great Lake is contaminated in one spot, it affects 2 nations, 8 states, 2 provinces. By working together, the mayor gets things done. Take an old water or dockyard, turn them into housing, refurbishment, not wasting. Hangars that are empty, not being reutilize them as affordable housing. The answers are in front of us. As mayors, we have a voice of the people, of our citizens, and we're able to bring their concern about the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence to our governors or our premier and able to move forward to the federal level.
So I'm going back to the 60s now because I'm old.
Likewise.
Right. Okay. Well, welcome. Lake Erie caught fire.
Yep.
Is all of that eliminated? What's the status of Lake Erie today?
Lake Erie is a lot more healthier in diversity than it was in 1960. Why? It was a combination of mayors, scientific.
Was this organization around then?
No, it was not. The association created in 22 years ago.
Okay.
The mayor of Chicago, Mike Daley, and the mayor of Toronto, Mike Miller, two mayors, great friend, say, hey, we cannot advise provincial or state level. We as mayor need to be active. And they created the city initiative in that perspective. And it has grown. Our model is also created the Mississippi River City Initiative. Identical.
Okay.
Because Canadian travels on the Great Lakes, our grain, travels all the way down to Louisiana for the economy of the United States, or vice versa. When the Mississippi was dry, less water. For us, it's an economy base. We have to help each other to make sure we don't lose jobs.
How many people in Canada and the U.S. and/or get their fresh water from the Great
40
Lakes?
million.
40 million.
40 million.
Do you know what that region is?
The most popular region is the big city, first of all. It's quite a thing. Since I live in a rural community, very, very small, most Montreal takes the water from the St. Lawrence. Quebec City takes water from the St. Lawrence and other part.
Chicago, Detroit?
Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, and other. There's a small city. His name is. It's a French. It's in.
Say it in French.
No. I can't remember. It's an Indian name, but it's also. It's in northern part of Illinois, and it was condemned. So City Initiative was able to work with NOAA, work with other organizations, scientifically, academically, to find solution.
So there's a lot. It's we refer to as the Rust Belt.
It's not the Green Corridor.
The Green Corridor.
You're absolutely right. That was in 1960 because
I told you I'm old.
Yeah, Canada and the United States, Detroit, great partnership, international bridge, great relationship, works together in the crossing process. We, the City Initiative, were allowed to talk to mayors, show them the importance, but also listen to the industry because industry creates employment for a citizen. We now turn into a green corridor. Blue economy, green corridor. You could look at green as environmental, you could look at green as money interested. It's economy based.
You look at a city like Gary, Indiana, for example, Steel City, Rust Belt city, fallen on hard times, economically is not anywhere near the city that it used to be. And they have all these, decaying, rusted out, decaying factories. What are we doing for places like that?
Hamilton, Ontario has the same problem. St. Catherine, Canada has the same problem. And that's why the mayor, Matt Simcoe, the mayor of St. Catherine, now will become a hydrogen plant for the ships.
Okay.
We're now sharing the technology between two countries. Why? Because mayors, we have no political boundaries. We share the best practice.
Yeah.
We modify, tweak it, but we get the result done. Make sure we have clean, safe water, but sustainable economy for the future, for the next generation.
This all sounds like very good government. How often do you meet? How often do you?
Actually, the executive meet every month.
Okay.
We have an annual meeting, but every 2 months we have a meeting with all the mayors involved or their staff member or representative. We give information. We also linked up with certain University of Chicago, Loyola University, Queen University, McGill, upstate New York, a technical college. We work together with the academia. Because if we don't give funding to the academic world, university or colleges, they're the research. They need to get the research out. But the mayor needs to have an active voice to make sure those university, those industry gets the funding necessary to change your way of thinking. I'm not saying change the way we do stuff. We can work it better, faster, more efficient, not losing job, but creating job for North America.
And I have to ask this question.
Yeah,
I'm
please,
sorry,
please.
but
No,
the presidential inaugural is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is Canada looking forward to being the 51st state?
It's just like somebody will say, you know what? My grandfather fought in the Civil War.
Yes.
My uncle were part of the United States military, Marine. My great uncle, Vice Admiral Guimond, was in U.S. Navy.
All right.
For us, as a border town, it doesn't really matter. Why? We have the same culture.
Okay.
What defines us is the latitude of the chain was during the War of 1812. That
Yes,
separated us.
that's correct.
We did invade.
Uh-huh.
We did succeed. But it's not about that. It's to work together. We can have different points of view on certain things. If you sit at a table, listen, Speak when you need to speak and reflect what has been said, but come to a common goal. I am very happy.
Is that hard?
It depends on the words you use. I am looking forward for the administration of President-elect Trump. He will do changes as any president of the United States or as any premier in Canada, because we're going to an election very similar.
Yeah.
There's going to be change, but change is good. Scary, but you have to accept change. It's part of our day-to-day life. If you want to be in a silo, then you have nothing. If you want to be in the sandbox, you have no sand. You have to get out of that. You have to expand, work together. There's more to gain. North America is a great continent. Canada and the United States, longest undefended border in the world. We have fought together. I have been, as a veteran, I had the honor and privilege to be inducted in the United States Army Hall of Fame.
Really?
I have worked with the 5th and 3rd SF Group. I have deployed with the American 101st. I've been to Fort Bragg, Fort Hood, Fort Sill in Oklahoma. What the king is, we have no boundary. Because why? Because once you deploy, I know that Canadian, I know that U.S. soldier.
We're all in this together.
Because the enemy does not choose what nationality you are.
True.
When you become together as one, united, economy, trade, it works together.
What's the biggest difference you see between the attitude of the American government leaders and the Canadian government leaders?
I think that's a very good question to answer. Is what is the attitude? Is what is the perspective of the individual? If you know your history, let's not make the same mistake twice. Both history has been written together, and there's a lot of great authors on both sides that define their history. Politician, the most challenges is to be reelected. And sometimes they should put more energy in finding, like Mayor does, need to solve the problem today. It's not going to solve tomorrow. It's going to take time. It's to be patient, not put obstacle, but work together. And that is identical to both nations.
So tell me a little bit about your city, Saint Anicet. How long have you been mayor?
I've been mayor for 8 years.
8 years? How's it going?
Very good. Very good. Very good. Small rural community, mostly 92% farming community.
What's the biggest issue you face there, Mr. Mayor?
Water erosion.
Monsieur le Maire.
Monsieur le Maire. Erosion. Water erosion of the St. Lawrence. There's less ice. It does has an impact. Less fish. We're not unable to go ice fishing in the winter because there's no ice. Less fish on the Great Lakes.
Do you ice fish?
Yeah. It's great.
Okay.
It's solitude.
Okay.
And it's, anyway, you have to try to love it.
I guess you're right.
No, but that's my challenge, because 80% of my population lives on the St. Lawrence Seaway. With the erosion, with the rising level, does create flooding. And that is a major concern I have.
All right. So we have a Good Government Show questionnaire, and we're going to come to that right after this. Once you wrap up this episode of the Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. So, the Good Government Show questionnaire. Now, I have to tell you that this is I've never given this to someone from Canada or anywhere else outside of the U.S., but I think most of it is applicable. We may have to make some changes as we go through. Monsieur le Maire, for the last 8 years, define good government.
Good governance is not to get involved in the administrative. Good governance is to give orientation, objective. If the staff are able to achieve that objective, you've done a great job. If the staff have not achieved the objective, maybe the governance did not give enough financial resource, human resource, or economy-based objective, or to ambition for the mayors or the elected official. That's what good governance is all about, orientation. And let the staff know what needs to get done. Give them the tools, but also give them the training necessary. If you went to school as you and I back in the 70s, things has evolved.
Yes.
Continuous education, formation is the key to success. Learn new technology. Don't be afraid to learn future things.
Are you a social media guy?
No, I'm not.
But you have staff that are.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. I have people that had my sons have better knowledge than I am.
That's why I call my daughter in to.
I do that. My son.
Can you come in and fix this? So, other than being reelected, how do you judge your success? How do you know if you're doing a good job?
It's a very good question. How do you do a good job? Is when the people tell you. Is when you have city hall meetings, people come and discuss what's good, what's not. Our job as mayors is to facilitate problems, is to facilitate to come to a common solution. That's when I know I'm doing a great job. When people see you on the street, they wave your hand, or when you sit down, have a coffee with them and discuss what's bothering them, or even knocking at their door, what can we do better? Is to always keep an active ear to the population.
So you're out in the community, I gather, a small city?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sure.
Everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody's got your phone number?
All big time. But that's good. People can come and visit me at my house, which they do, or they visit me at City Hall, depending on
people knock on your door and go, Monsieur le Maire.
Yes, they do.
Just a question.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yeah, especially when they don't understand certain things, and maybe they're too shy to ask in public. I have no problem with that. It's because I work for them and with them.
If the people that you serve who are knocking on your door, if they're not getting the government that they want, if they don't think they're getting good government, how should they hold you accountable? What should they make you do?
We have an election in the province of Quebec every 4 years.
Okay.
And that's the mayor and the council. Automatically, it's a 4-year term. So this year, on the 1st of October, will be our last public meeting as mayor. Then we go into an election, 45 days, and get a new elected mayor.
It's just 45 days.
45 days.
That's one of the things you might be better at than us.
Because it's more cost effective.
Yeah.
And it gives people chance to be more active in it. Because if you take too long, people lose interest. They have other priorities in their home, or the welfare of the well-being, or the mother's sick, or the parents, or their children. So we say 45 days is long enough to get your message out, be walk on a fast pace, and connect with people.
Do you look at what we're doing in the United States and have these 2 and 3 year elections, look at them and go, what are these Americans thinking?
You have a system that's different.
Yes.
And it works for the United States. Democracy works. You have your Constitution.
Yep.
It works. Most USN know their amendment. Fifth Amendment is not to speak. I know because I taught at the Sergeant Major's Academy.
You did?
So
You were a Sergeant Major?
Yes, Army Sergeant. I was the Army Sergeant Major in Canada, but I did my Sergeant Major's Academy in El Paso, Sergeant Major's Academy.
Okay.
So what the thing is to understand, and that's where the great thing, it works for you. You vote for a party. In Canada, we vote for the person to represent us, who represents a party. So.
A little different. If people don't think that the government is working for them, what should they do?
Come to the meetings. Come to the public meetings. That's the first thing. We have public consultation. Make your voice heard. It's easy to criticize. Come in person or fill out a ballot, fill out a note. Most municipalities in Canada, United States, you could put a good recommendation box or put something in. The mayors wants to know your feedback. Ask a request to meet with the mayors. I have that. Every Tuesday morning from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, I meet citizens.
You do?
And it's open for them. It is their time to come and meet with me.
Do they come?
Yes, yeah.
Are you every Tuesday? Is your plate full? Your schedule full?
Not every Tuesday are full, I must say.
Yeah.
But when you first start, it is.
Yeah.
But as the publishing gain confidence, there's less.
Okay.
And people who do come and see you is something because they have an issue with bad neighbor. And I would say, good neighbor starts with yourself and talk with your neighbor.
You've been Monsieur le Maire for the last 8 years. Did you have a elected office before that?
No,
this is it?
This is, I jumped in, and the reason why my municipality was going to a deficit.
Yeah. And
the citizen, I'm a first responder, and the citizens say, with your military background, we see you as the mayor. So I represent myself, and actually there was 3 of us running for mayor.
Yeah.
And I ran as independent. I thought a small community needed people about the people, for the people.
What were you doing before that? What was your background?
In the military.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
retired in 2012, first responder, and in 2017.
First responder, what were you doing?
Firefighter.
Okay.
Search and rescue. So had to keep active.
Yep.
And people came to me, there's an election coming up. Nothing against them. They were not working for the people. They're working for their own individual goal. And the citizen approached me to say, hey, put your name in the ballot. And that's what I did.
So now you've been in government for 8 years. What would you like people to, as a government insider, which you are, and especially through your work with the Great Lakes St. Lawrence City Initiative. What would you like people to know about government?
You know, get involved. It's easy to criticize, and I'm not just saying go vote, then that gives you the right to bitch. Get involved. Get involved. When there's a public consultation, find the time to be heard, to speak. You can criticize
But that's not easy.
Nothing is easy. If it was easy, everybody will be doing it.
True.
But it is to go out and talk. Formulate your question or your argument and say, hey, this is what I have observed. It's not working. But don't be shy. Recommend something. If there's a problem, give a recommendation. It might not be your recommendation. It could be a modified. But you have to you can say, hey, I brought that up and there is a change.
Is there anything you've learned in government that surprised you?
Yes.
What is that?
And one thing is not every elected official are there for the right reason, unfortunately. Some people are there for the title and not the work that needs to be done to represent their district.
What do you do with those people when you come across them?
I bring them to my office. as a military as a veteran.
Yes.
I have a one-on-one talk.
Is that your version of Out to the Woodshed?
Yes.
Okay.
Politically, yes, it would
come to Jesus, whichever phrase you like.
Whatever phrase you say. No, I speak with them and I say, hey, this is what I've seen. This is what I'm hearing. I need you to reflect on this. And I'm not asking you to change because you were elected. Right. But I need you to have a more representative of the people you represent. Be more near. And you can criticize a decision, but publicly you need to speak. If the council say we're going right and you want to go left, but you need to explain why the council is going this direction.
Is that well received?
At first, no, because they're not used to be criticized or given feedback on their action.
Okay.
But after a while, it's adapt. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
My CEO will say.
Has someone done that to you?
Well, yeah, the CEO say, Gino, you've done this, or some city council, that was kind of harsh. Yeah, you're right, it was. And during the pandemic, I made a decision. If you do not live in Saint Anicet, don't come and visit. That was a hard decision.
Yeah.
I only got 3 nasty emails. So that's pretty good.
Okay. All right.
So it worked.
So you make news. You're a newsmaker. Where do you get your news from?
I get my news from Canada, first of all. But okay. I do listen to all the in Canada, we see about 40% of U.S. news and our news. So we do follow U.S. policy, U.S. change. I do watch CNN, Fox, NBC, ABC. Yeah. We get the same station. I say our cultures are very identical.
Do you get the newspaper delivered to your house?
I do not anymore because I get it now on the computer.
All right. So who's your political hero? Does someone inspire you to do this? Did someone inspire you, a politician inspire you to get involved? You said people urged you to run.
Actually, there's a lot of, within the United States or
Canada,
Canada. Yeah. I had a chance while in the military to meet President Reagan.
Okay.
I met Mr. Obama, and so I had met them. I also met Canadian Prime Minister Clark. I met Mr. Trudeau, and I never thought I was going to become a politician. Far from it. I wanted to be a soldier, serve my country, join to serve, not to be served.
Yeah.
I risked my life to help others, NGOs in danger, as my peers my brother of arms in the United States and sister of arms. And I said, I could do something. And when the citizen, my peers, approached me, say, Gino, you should run for mayor. You can make a difference. And that's what I did. So inspire great leaders of the past. They're all great leaders because the people elected them is to find out what they did good, what did not work, and analyze yourself and make your own judgment what you need to get to do.
And you never thought of running for office, being in politics, being elected, putting your name on a ballot, nothing?
No. Because I put my life in danger again. When people don't understand, when you're in the combat zone, when we say don't go there, there's a reason. And when
Where have you served in active combat?
In Afghanistan, had a chance to go to Africa and Central America. And I always say political makes decision for the well-being of the people.
Right.
And if you go there as an advisor, listen to the advisor, make your own decision, and attack.
And you were a sergeant major?
Yes,
which is, I believe, the highest non-commissioned rank.
And I became the Canadian Army Sergeant Major of Canada, and I had the privilege and honor working along my colleague here in the United States, the Army Sergeant Major in the Pentagon. So, yes.
Oh, all right. Did you do a tour of the Pentagon to liaise?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been to lots of places. All right. Now, here's the hardest question. I've been to Canada a couple of times, Montreal. Not much more than that. I have never been to Quebec. Quebec, I think, is the
Quebec City is it's the oldest city in North America.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the dish? What's the thing we're having? We're going out.
We're going out.
What do we have?
First of all, do you have any allergy? Because that's a common question in all restaurants.
We're good.
Okay. Poutine. Poutine is the great thing in Quebec. Montreal smoked
French fries, gravy, cheese,
curd, cheese curd,
right?
Fresh.
Gotta be cheese curd.
Oh, it has to be. It cannot be. Yeah.
All right.
But there's a lot pâté chinois.
Explain.
Shepherd's pie.
Okay.
It is Quebec's national dish.
Really?
Yes.
British shepherd's pie.
No, Quebec pâté chinois.
What's the difference?
It's made in Quebec. Quebec potato, Quebec meat, Quebec sauce, and also les tortillas. And the tortilla is wild meat pies.
Okay.
And mostly served in the wintertime.
All right.
So it's the great harvest, yes.
Okay. And in summer?
In summer, just in the United States, a good corn roast and the barbecue goes a long way.
All right. Okay. All right. Good. Well, I like that idea. Poutine. Who doesn't like poutine, right?
Exactly.
So this is the Good Government Show. We always try to bring it back to good government. Give me an example of a good government project you've worked on either in your city or with the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence City Initiative that you're really proud of.
One of the getting proud is what the Great Lakes City Initiative is. When a big ship goes on the St. Lawrence and the Great Lakes, will change its ballast tank in certain area not to contaminate any Great Lakes with different invasive species. That is awesome. Before we had mussels invading, we have a invasion Asian carp. Now when a ship ballast changes certain area, we can control those contaminating. That is a great success.
You mentioned Asian carp. That was a real problem. I think they were putting up nets or fences or something like that.
The governor of Illinois finally signed off last year on the project with the United States Corps of Engineers. That will help reduce. But don't forget, the first responsibility, I'm a hunter and fisher, starts with us. Clean your boat before you go to a different lake, not to take any invasive microbes in that place. And by doing that, the Great Lakes City Initiative did that.
I have swam in Lake Huron and Lake Michigan.
Likewise.
Incredibly clean.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for allowing me to be part of your team on Good Government Show. And you know what? Together, we can achieve great. But if we get everybody working together and put aside sometimes our difference, we will achieve greatness. Because North America, Canada, the United States, two great nations working as one for the future.
Well, I can't top that. Our first Canadian mayor, our first international guest, Mayor Gino Moretti. Monsieur le maire, en français.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. That's all my French. Sorry.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for coming.
No, thank you. Great to have you.
The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. As you heard, my French is, well, minimal, but luckily Gino Moretti speaks flawless English. Here's one thing I learned. He's a retired Canadian Army Sergeant Major, but took his training with the U.S. Army and deployed with the U.S. Army. So nice to have Gino as a neighbor. Here's another thing Canadians might just do better. As you heard, the election cycle for him lasted 45 days. Just 45 days. People lose attention, he says, if it goes on any longer. And this might be an idea worth looking at here in the USA. A good conversation with our Canadian mayor and neighbor, Gino Moretti. Canadians are, as you heard, very good neighbors. I hope everyone in Washington is keeping that in mind. and listening to The Good Government Show. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of How Good Government Works for All of Us. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.